Hey guys, I hope everybody is doing well. My today's video is gonna be based on conversion tracking, more specifically tracking click events on your website. A lot of the times you want to track those click events that happen on your website. For example, someone is filling in a form and presses that submit button. Now that's a meaningful action and you want to track that, specifically if you're running those paid campaigns, the traffic that's coming from your Google Ads campaign, social media campaigns, or any other types of campaigns, to kind of get to know the ROI, the return on your investment. You want to track those kinds of events. Other times you may have some restrictions. For example, your website may be a one-pager. You may not have an inner thank you page where you can implement the page view event. Alright, or other times you may have an e-commerce store where you may not have a static thank you page to put the event snippet on. So in that case, it's a useful approach to implement the process on the buttons where click events are happening. So for example, if you go to this demo website, this example website, go down to the form section and press and submit a test form, right? Let's say it's a test at gmail.com. It's a subject and some text here, and you're submitting it. It's going to take you to a new page that's called a thank you page. This is where you normally put your event snippet, right? So if you are implementing the standard Google Ads tracking, you're going to have a global tag, and then you're going to have an event snippet, and that event snippet needs to go between the body section of this specific page for Google to be able to track conversions. All right, so there is another way. But if you don't have a thank you page, what you want to do is, for example, if you just have a single page, and on that single page you have a form, and you want to track whenever someone comes down here, fills in the information and presses the submit button, you want to track that. Even if you want to do that, this video is going to help you execute just that. So without further ado, let me just quickly take you through the process of how you can go about implementing this thing. So the first thing is, before I go ahead and create a new conversion tag within Google Ads, you need to have a Google Tag Manager installed for your website, because I'm not going to cover the manual part of it. This is based on your Google Tag Manager setup. So if you have one installed for your website, this video is going to be useful for you. If you don't have a Google Tag Manager, you want to skip that or find some other video to help you with the conversion, or you can drop a comment below so that I can cover your specific situation. If it's a manual option you are trying to implement, by just copying the Google's event snippet and global tag and directly implementing it to your website's backend code, that's another option. But we are talking about implementing the process via Google Tag Manager. So you need to have this one installed for your website before you could start off the process. All right, so we have the Google tags installed, and I assume you have a campaign running. Now we are going to set up a new conversion. And that conversion is gonna be we have different options here: phone calls, apps, but we are going to go for website because this is going to happen on your website. And in category, choose let's say form submission, and you can give it a custom name, but leave it for now. It's for just demo purposes. Set it to 1 because if it's a form submission, you're not going to associate any transactional or monetary value to it, so it's best you should set it to the default value, which is 1, and the rest of the setting can remain the same. You're going to hit continue and create. Alright, enter name not used by any conversion, maybe let's say click event, click event tracking. Okay, now create and continue. Okay, now since we are going to implement it via Google Tag Manager, we are going to go with this option. Otherwise, if you want to install it manually, this is where you can find the 2 bits of snippets, the 2 snippets you can manually put on your website. So this one, and we have a conversion ID and we have a conversion label. These 2 bits of information are what we are going to need to set up the click event, click tracking, or click event tracking within our GTM. Now if we head over to the GTM, the very first thing you need to enable is you need to go to these variables, right? Go to configure, and under the clicks section you need to select at least the classes. Most of the times this is what you're going to use. The button class is what you're going to use to set up a trigger. Alright, but if for some reason the class isn't available, you may go with class ID, or if that's not available, maybe click text or click URL. If you want to choose them all, select them all, you can select them all. You can then pick whichever element is available in your website's case. Most of the time the classes for buttons are available, or if you don't have classes, you may have a click ID. But let's say we have chosen a few of these options, and we don't have to save, or just have to click away, and those options are enabled. Now we can go to triggers. You want to set up a new trigger for our click event. Alright, go to all elements under clicks, and over here you need to choose some clicks, because you don't want to track all the clicks that are happening on your landing page. You want to track specific clicks that are associated with conversions, or that you think are the clicks that refer to a user taking some meaningful action on your website. So some clicks, and you need to further specify what those some clicks are, right? So in our case, for example, here we want to track this specific button. When someone fills in the form and presses the send button, this should be tracked. So to do that, we need to although you can choose different options. You have class ID here, you have click text here, you have click URL, you have multiple options, but by far the most common option to choose is the click classes. Alright, and to find where this class exists on this button or for this button, you need to right click it, go to inspect elements, and it should be visible somewhere here, right? So you selected the button, and the highlighted part of the code is where you can find your desirable class. So in this case it's this. something happened and disappeared for some reason. I don't know why. Let's refresh the page and go here, click on this button, right click on it, and it's here. Copy it, paste it somewhere, let's say on a notepad maybe, so that you are going to need it when you set up your trigger. Now copy it and paste it here. Alright, and save it. Give it a name, Google Ads click event, or just click event trigger. Save it. Okay, now our trigger is set up. We need to associate this trigger with a tag now, so we need to configure a new tag. Go to new, set up a new tag, choose Google Ads conversion tracking, and this is where you are going to need, what happened to this? This is where you're going to need, sorry, this was WordGrid Tech account, and this was the event, and you know, this is where you are going to need these two bits of information, the conversion ID. So you're going to copy it, paste it here in the conversion ID field, and then copy the conversion label, paste it here, go down, choose the trigger that we just set up. This, in the case of click event, it's this trigger, and give it a name, Google Ads conversion click events. Save it, and that's pretty much about it. We have set up our triggers, and we have set up our tag. Now we need to test it to ensure the tag fires when someone comes on our website, goes down to their relevant section, fills in the form and submits, presses the submit button. The tags should fire. To test that, we need to go to the preview mode, the debug mode. We need to put the URL in this search section, URL section, connected, so that the GTM is connected with our website. The tag assistant is connected with our website. Its status is connected now. After it's connected now, whatever you do on your website, whatever action you prompt on your website, or any event that happen on your website due to clicks or due to any other action of a user, are going to be tracked here, alright, under the summary section. So right now we are standing at the 6th click. So if I go ahead, for example, click on this URL, you will see, you know, the 7th click happen, and then some DOM processes that occurred due to this click event. So the site's URL changed and came to this new page, right? So it's going to be tracked here. So if I go to this certain section here, all right, and I click on it, what happens is, what should happen is, it should trigger this specific tag that we just set up. So right now it's not fired. The status is it's not fired yet. But if we go ahead and click on this button, it should now trigger this specific tag we just set up. So let's do this. Click on it and see if, yeah, it did. The 18th click we just triggered on this site resulted in this specific, in this new tag to fire. All right, now if you want to go into the specifics of this click and see what type of variables are associated with it, you can also see them in the variables tab down here. So you have the URL, you have the classes, class IDs, and everything. So if sometimes you're confused, you're not able to find the class ID, all right, or classes, a button class, or you are trying to pull up the class by right clicking, going to the inspect elements section, but for some reason it's not working. All right, for any reason that specific class is not working, if that happens, what you are gonna want to do is, let me see, for example, you pick the class from here, you went to the triggers while setting up the triggers, and you pasted that class there. For example, the class contains, and in the field you pasted that class that you copied from here, but for some reason it didn't work. It happens sometimes, maybe due to some space, some extra character or something like that, some human error. It sometimes doesn't work. So a better way to debug or to find out where the problem exists is to prompt that specific event, then go to that specific click associated with that event. In our case, the submit button is the send button, and select it, go to the variables, and from here you can simply select the desirable element. All right, the desirable class. In this case, this entire string of code is the same thing. In our case, that's why the tag fired, it worked correctly. But if it doesn't match, if your manual class doesn't match with the one you see here, that means something is wrong with the manual class, so you want to replace that with the one you find here. All right, so that's how you can set up your click event tracking within GTM for your Google Ads. I'm sure if you want to set it up the way I have demonstrated to you, if this is something you want to implement for your website, this video was helpful. But if you are coming across some other problem, you can leave your request in the comment. Maybe I will cover those things in the next videos. If you need my help with, maybe you want to implement the process manually on your website, be it a WordPress website, Shopify website, or any other CMS or e-commerce platform. If you need my help, you can mention that in the comment section. I will try to cover that in the upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.